What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uberkooledgarage. Sorry this video came, it's been 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks since I've posted a video. Ended up getting super sick. Haven't been able to really do anything. Been stuck in bed, not really being able to move. Body aches were incredibly terrible. So I'm still kind of getting over it, but it's getting better. So in this week's episode, we are going to be starting on a small new project for one of my friends. It is not Subaru swap related, but it'll still be a pretty cool little project. Car is very nice. Looks super nice. So we're going to be doing that. And as you can see, the bug is about 50% on the ground. So we will be getting into some suspension stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get right into the episode. If you guys like this content, feel free to subscribe. Hit that like button down in the corner. Really helps me out. And everything's starting to come along. We're gonna really start digging into some good stuff coming up as far as this car, and gonna be starting the business end of everything here pretty quick. So look forward to products from me. Probably will be starting to make shirts. I'm gonna get those sticker sales posted somewhere so that I can start selling stickers to you guys. And we will continue along all of my journey. I like to include you guys in everything as far as the car stuff and all of that. So we will be hopping into it. So hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys at the end. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Uberkooledgarage. On this week's episode, we are ditching the Subaru motor and putting a Volkswagen motor back in the bug. No, I'm just messing with you guys. So this is a buddy Derek's motor. He went and picked it up from somebody off of Facebook Marketplace. The guy lied to him, and this motor was no good. He said it was running when he came out, but unfortunately, that was not the case. Went to turn the motor over, and the motor locked up, so he left it here with me. We went ahead and disassembled the entire motor. This was a complete motor ready to go, but wasn't quite the case. So, tore the motor apart. I kind of wish that I would have filmed the motor coming apart, because it was very interesting. So, I have all the parts under my bench over here. So you can see everything's, kind of decent. The pistons are super chunked up. And as you can see, there's metal flakes on top of the piston. I went through, cleaned this one off to make sure that this was a 1641, which indeed it is. And then I went ahead and pulled off the heads. So that is exactly what it looked like when it came out. Pretty sure the valve's not supposed to be free floating, and this one is completely bent. So I was like, well, heads are scrapped, gotta throw those away. And then went ahead and opened up that, and there is the piston. So the valve went into the piston just a couple times. So this entire thing is completely gone. At this point, I was wondering if the bottom end of the motor was any good. Thank goodness I opened up the case. The entire bottom side of the motor is good. So what I am going to do is I'm going to split the case, keep the crank that's in there. All the bearings are fine. I need to clean out the case of any of the piston material that was inside of the block. I dumped some of it out, but there's still a little bit in there, so I got to clean that out. I have a set of heads. I went ahead and grabbed this cam from, this has been in storage for a long time, so I'm going to go through and clean it up, get rid of some of the rust spots on it. I got some brake clean, so I'll brake clean all that up, get this cam all nice and clean. I went ahead and ordered a gear because I didn't have a gear. Already went through and torqued on the gear, got all that set up, and then went ahead and ordered some pushrod tubes, engine gasket kit, so that comes with everything. Those are for Zach's car. Windshield wipers, clips for Zach's car, and then I ordered a set of 1641 pistons, so I'll open those later and show you guys. But ordered pistons, so basically I have everything to build this motor, and then he came and dropped off his car. So we will be taking his motor out and putting this one in once I get it built. So let's get this motor built and get it in his car. He's currently running a stock 1200. So it's got a 0 power. So probably push the car faster than what it is now. So this should be a decent step up. The cam is a custom ground 112 cam, so it should be a pretty nasty little 1641. Should be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and put this motor together. Okay guys, got everything put in, all my timing marks are lined up, all the bearings are seat right in the right spot. Went ahead and ultra blacked the case, so we'll go ahead and slide this on and bolt it up. Got the short block all put together, put the oil filter on there just to keep stuff out of the motor.
I had a piece of tape on the fuel pump and then slid in a distributor, and then I covered the whole thing in plastic overnight. So it's the next day. I went ahead and set up the pistons. So all the piston rings are spaced out correctly. Got all the wrist pins or the wrist pin clips on the inside to where you don't have to get to them once everything's together. Have the wrist pins sitting here, more clips. And then over here, I have the other two pistons. So I just got to slide these in. I'm going to clean up the surface around each cylinder. I'm going to oil the rod ends on both sides. And then I'm going to take a thin layer of Ultra Black and put Ultra Black around each one of the pistons as I slide them in. And then we should be able to put on some heads and the push rod tubes, get all the rest of this put together. So we'll go ahead and slap all this in. Last night I went ahead and made up this template for the upper control arms up front. So you can see that will sit in there like that. You may be wondering why the heim joint's this way. With the way that the heim joints work, I want to have as much adjustment as possible up front. So when it comes out like this or in, it changes the pivot point on the actual ball. And with it sideways like this, it only moves a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm going to end up getting some safety washers, which will give it more flex around the ball. So that will go in there that way. This will give me way more swing this way. And the suspension travel is not very high. So this should work the way that it needs to. I just have to get this angle here correct. That way it doesn't go to full droop and the car would bottom out before it ever hit the top of the heim joint. So this is just a template. I'm going to cut out a couple of these pieces and tack weld them together to find my angles. Make sure I don't have to take the bracket and move it up or down or twist it or any of that. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up shortening this just a little bit, just so then it's not so bulky down here. So the rear one's gonna have 2 positions, and the front one will have 3 positions that I can change it to. Kind of exactly like I did on the rear. So the closest ones to the front only have 2 positions, and the rear ones in the back have 3 positions. That'll help me adjust the brake bias in the car if I need it further forward or further towards the rear. The car will pitch at a different spot. So, and also it'll I can control the center of gravity height with this. If I have to bring it down to get the center of gravity of the car correct, then I can do that as well. So I'm going to cut these out, tack weld them together, see what I need to do, and make a front one, and then mimic it onto the other side. And we should be pretty close. I still need the crossbar here for the coilover mount. And then the coilover mounts you already saw in the last video that I cut them out. So just need a crossbar and these 4 top mounts, and basically suspension's done. I have a couple touch-up things to do on the rear, but that's it. So let's get this suspension finished up. Okay guys, so the car is kind of on the ground. I still have to do a bunch of suspension stuff, but everything looks like it lines up good. I have decent ground clearance. The front fenders are gonna work. The have a decent gap underneath. Still have to adjust the wheel back a little bit. The hood's still sitting a little off, so have to do all that. But goodness, this car is ridiculous. So have quite a bit of room underneath the car still. Really like everything, the way that it's set up. It is almost impossible to tell how small the car is. So maybe I'll insert a photo after this to show you guys kind of what it is. Have the door on here and the windshield on here just to kind of get a good visual of the car. But I will insert a photo now, and then we will start taking apart the rear suspension. I'm going to get it in primer, start finishing all the little itty bits that I have to on the rear suspension, get that completely done, primered, ready to go, and then we'll move on to the front. I have to order some safety washers from the Heim joints up front, and I'm going to order the brake lines and shift cables. That way I get those probably next week. And then we can finish up front suspension, get the brake lines in, get those all hooked up, start bleeding stuff, and we're getting really close. So here's the photo of me standing next to the car. Keep in mind that I am 5'8". I am pretty short. 5'8's kind of overkill, more like 5'7". So I am not very tall. The car itself, the roof line is basically 49 inches tall. So you can kind of see the rear tire is a 26-inch tire, and it's basically at window height. So that kind of gives you an idea on how short the car is. So I'll insert that photo now. Got the parts that were on back order, so now I can completely finish off the rear hubs of the Bug. So here's the axle spacers. Those will go inside of the hub to space out the bearings and everything like that. So brand new ones. The ones that were in the car, I'm not 100% sure what happened to them. So went ahead and ordered new ones. Rather have new ones anyway. And then I got my billet caps for those. Kind of splurged a little bit. So these are billet aluminum bearing housings, caps for the end. So all of that comes with Allen hardware. I'm actually really excited about those. Those look awesome. Of course, it's going to be on a part of the car that nobody will ever see, but it's just one of those things that's, I don't know, kind of flashy, that is all in the small details of the car that you won't really see, but you guys will know that it's in there. So it makes it pretty cool. Rear suspension is getting pretty darn close. I've been working on it a little bit. Went ahead and put some primer on the bars just to keep them from rusting. So all of this stuff in here, I'm starting to set up the actual spindle for the inside. I'm also looking at the sway bar. So I think the sway bar is going to run underneath, and then it kicks up. And then I will weld in a tab that goes into the A-arm here. That this bolts onto. Will be fully adjustable, and there are 2 holes on the sway bar. That way I can adjust stiffness if I need to. Sorry if I sound weird. I've been really sick all week, and I'm just kind of getting over it, so I'm all congested up and gross. So I haven't really been able to really work on the car too much this week, but I'm still doing everything that I physically can. So that's the update on that stuff. I'm going to continue on building the spindles for both sides, and then I'm going to weld out the passenger side, get that all in primer, good to go. Everything on this side is basically just tacked in for now. As you can see, the coilover is loose, and I still have a strap holding the toe angle on it, but I'm gonna finish up all of this over here on this side, get it all in primer, and then we can move on to the front, which is basically in the same state as the rear. I just gotta make a couple tabs and get all of that stuff set up, and then we should be looking pretty good. Well, a couple things have happened since I filmed last. I went to the dealership and picked up my oil fill neck. So brand new OEM fill neck from Subaru. And then I also went and picked up a brand new water neck. So got the water neck in there, thermostats in there. I had previously used mine for Zach's car to get the direction right on his car. Another thing that I have done, kind of test fitting the old rear diffuser to see what I need to change. But I got the axles in here. They're all built, bolted together, have CV grease in them, everything. Everything lines up great. Also went ahead and bolted everything up, make sure that everything works. So everything looks really good. Everything's gonna work properly. So we're looking pretty good there. On this side of the rear suspension, I have to go pick up some 1/8" plate to finish off a couple things on this, and then I can finish the passenger side one. And then once I have that stuff done, then we'll move up to the front and start getting the front all set up. That way I can roll this thing around if I need to. Also, just set the windshield in there to sit in the car, make sure visibility's okay. I might try and lower the front seats just a little bit, just to get a little bit better visual. And if anybody taller than me sits in the car, they will be able to see as well. So I'm going to see if I can do that, and then finish off the rear suspension. And we're getting really close, guys. It seems super far off, but as soon as I finish up suspension, I'm going to pull the body off of the car, finish welding the cage, and getting everything buttoned up that I need to. And then we'll work on the body and get the body situated to where it needs to be. And then we'll put it back together. But I think I'm probably going to try and drive it before I get everything on the body done. That way I know that the chassis is good. So we'll keep pushing along, keep trying to get this thing where it needs to be. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you this week. I am out of town this week for work, so I'm not 100% sure on if I'm going to be able to get a video out. It really depends on, I'm going to be off on Friday, Saturday, so depending on how much work I can get done in those 2 days will depend on if I am able to get a video out next week. I'm really going to try and push as hard as I can on both of these projects. Derek's car shouldn't take too long, and we still have a ton of stuff to do on the bug, so we will get back into both of them next week, and we will see you guys then. Thank you guys for subscribing, liking, commenting. You guys are awesome. I'm surprised at how many of you enjoy the content and really help push me to get this thing going.
So thank you guys. We will see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.